Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the opening night of the SFLm's 12th season here on the Virtual Football Network. We're here live from Florence, Oregon, where the waves and cliffs are high, but the hopes are even higher for these two squads here in the SFLm. We have the newly minted Boston Cavalry and the Oregon Waves clashing in the first game in both of their franchises this season. I'm DJ Gilgan, and I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the evening. With me in the booth is my good friend and colleague, your analyst for the evening, John Campbell. And John, I don't know about you, my friend, but I am very excited to see how this one's going to play out.
Well, excited doesn't even begin to express it, DJ. This is the smell and feel of a fresh, new SFLm season. And even though these are two new teams, they still have some excellent pedigree behind them. Boston's being led by Aiden Teixeira, who has experience on running the back end of multiple SFLm teams, and Oregon's being led by Heath Wheeler, who has been GM and owner of multiple franchises, including the old Boston Rebels. So it's funny, we've got a little Boston history in Oregon's leadership, taking on Boston, who's got history back in the Ottawa days. So it'll be interesting to see how these storied new franchises play, starting off with a fumble on the first kick.
Oh, man. What a way to start there, Boston. Nearly the hearts jumping up in their chest as J.C. Wallace Jr. involved on the play as that one hits the turf. That could have been disastrous there early, John. But shake that off. A little bit of nerves coming in here in your first game, but you got to clean that up. And now here's the newly minted Boston Cavalry. Of course, you've seen this Cavalry brand in the SFLm before. Excited to welcome them back. In a different country this time, though, taking their brand to Boston. We have a offset I form here. That one's going to go right up the middle. Nice blocks to the outside. That one's going to scamper ahead for 6 yards. Let's introduce this Boston offense here. Doc Holliday going to be your quarterback. Warwick Dunn, TJ Duckett, and George Lane going to be your backs. Wide receiver Brian Finneran, Peerless Price, Trevor Gaylor, and Algie Crumpler. And then Jeremy Shockey going to be your pass catchers. That one's going to be another handoff up the middle, just short of that first down marker.
Oh, and they're marking him just shy of that. Duckett made a good stretch there at the end, and honestly, from up here, I think he got it. That looked like a good stretch on that, but the refs are saying just an index card between him and the chains.
It's like 4-3 set defense here for Oregon. Got to make a stop, run to the outside, and look, oh, they'll call it short. Looked like just enough, but they will call it short. That was Chad Guy Jr. making the stop as of now.
Ooh, and there's the challenge flag. Boston here going from left to right across the screen, but the run went a little too far north up the screen. But still, it looks like the Boston coaching staff there is saying they think they crossed the line. Ballmer likes the look of his guys, even with that little cutback play. And we're going to see what the refs see on replay.
Yeah, and I think he's right. That was Warwick Dunn fighting ahead. I don't know. That's going to be close. Chad Guy Jr. got to him quick. See the
all depends on forward progress.
That's exactly right. And the Zebras, they will say it stands. They'll call it inches.
They say that the forward progress did not include a stretch of the ball. That is a charged timeout. 4th and inches on the first drive in your own territory.
And just over a minute off the clock, and already Boston forced to punt. Didn't even get to go through their entire offense, and they're already giving it back to Oregon. Great stop there by the Oregon defense. That's got to be some, a nice confidence boost coming into your first week.
Absolutely great play by that Waves defense. And the head coach, Stefan Forge, has some defensive pedigree behind him. And the defensive coordinator, Zach Turner, as well, clearly saw some things that they liked in that preseason exhibition a couple weeks ago and came out with a game play ready to start this game on defense and set the tone early.
Yeah, had some great preseason action prior to this week one. If you missed that, some extra football for you to go watch after this one is done, of course. But now, Oregon in their nice green jerseys will come out in great field position, already past the 35-yard line. I formation here against this 4-3 of the Boston Cavalry. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Looks like we're going to see a lot of running tonight. That is Jim Hood getting the carry while we have some time to go over the rest of this offense. John Ingles going to be your quarterback for the Waves. The aforementioned Jim Hood, along with Sean Alexander in the backfield, Max Strong, their fullback, Corin Robinson, Daryl Jackson, Bobby Ingram, and Alex Bannister, their wide receivers.
And Jim Hood, that halfback, he's one of the more veteran players on this team. So he's going to be setting an example for all of those teammates on how to get a good SFLm team going, right? He's got some experience from last season, had a nice couple of games that he played in after joining in October. So they've got some good strength on the ground already.
Pass out to the flat there. Sean Alexander was able to pull it up off the turf as we will see another pass. John Ingles, a ton of time, going to connect over the middle. That one is caught, and that's Corin Robinson who gains a huge first down for the Waves. Let's go through the rest of this offense while we have some time. Matt Fennick Jr., your tight end, along with Jeremy Stevens, the other, and Floyd Womack, your left tackle, holding off the left side of that offensive line.
Just a perfect little delayed drag there by Robinson, getting in about 10 yards deep, then that quick diagonal cut, then straight horizontal, breaks away from the coverage, setting up for a beautiful pass by Ingles.
Had a bunch of time to throw there, and talk about much time. There wasn't much on that one. Jim Hood going to go ahead and fight for a few yards on that outside run, but the defender got there pretty quickly around the edge.
Yeah, it was a good 4-yard gain, which is something that you love to see from your halfback on first down, but excellent pursuit by the linebacker to get over there and stop it from being too damaging a first play.
Handoff to that left-hand side. Sean Alexander gets pulled in quite early on. They'll call it a 2-yard gain. The rest of that offensive line, Zach Wonders, your left guard, Robbie Toe Beck, your center, Steve Hutchinson, the right guard, and Walter Jones, your right tackle on that far right side. Another I form here. A lot of heavy sets here for Oregon, and multiple backs in their backfield. John Ingles surveys, drops back on the pass. He's going to fire that one over the middle, and it's caught in traffic. Once again, it's Corin Robinson.
They are finding ways to get Robinson open right in that midfield zone. Not so deep that Ingles has to use all of his arm strength, but not so short that it's shy of the first down. If this is the case, they're going to start with Hood early on these drives and then get Robinson open once the D stacks the box. Beautiful play calling so far by Oregon.
Yeah, very nice. They certainly did their homework coming into this one, and they have a nice game script. Single back this time. It will still be a handoff up the middle. Jim Hood has a lot more space to run. That's a gain of 7 after he's corralled by a few members of the cavalry. Let's talk about the members of the cavalry on the defensive side of the ball. Rodney Smith, the defensive end. Patrick Kearney, your defensive end as well. Edward Jasper and Ellis Johnson fill up that defensive line. Karen Riley, Will Overstreet, Keith Brooking, and Twan Russell, your linebackers on this squad. As Sean Alexander receives that handoff and gets leveled by Todd McBride on the weak side.
Todd McBride, the cornerback there, coming down, laying out the running back. Not something that you see every day from the corner. Those skinny guys usually back running with the wide receivers, but man, he showed his strength there.
Yeah, you'll remember that one going into next week. That was a really hard hit. They're going to go back to another heavy set as they only need a yard. Jim Hood will get that yard. Fights ahead. That's a touchdown. The first one for this new Oregon franchise will go on the stat sheet of Jim Hood.
Jim Hood, that veteran halfback, dragging the Mike linebacker with him for about 10 yards. Just an incredible physical play by the halfback there. Meets with the linebacker and just says, not today. Pulls him all the way in.
Gets skinny halfway through that run and just busts it wide open. That was a huge start for Oregon, especially considering, how fast their defense got out to that start. That's a 15-yard run there for Jim Hood as he's able to punch it in.
Oh, that doesn't get the blood pumping. I don't know what does. SFLm Nation, make sure you are smashing that like button. More likes is healthy for the SFLm, it's good for the SFL, and it's good for the whole virtual football network. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's keep this game rolling.
Thank you as well to our staff. We have in the truck, of course, Alex West, our producer, making this all possible. Our newly minted commissioner, Ellie Diomas, doing stats for us as well this evening. J.W. Hartshorn helping with stats as well. And Justin Reside in the stats truck as well, bringing some fun energy, and shadowing hopefully going to help with some stats later on this season. And I love that we're going to have some more bodies down here, especially Justin. And yeah, Boston Cavalry coming back onto the field, hoping to have a better start than their last, John, because that certainly wasn't up to expectations. Snap here, surveys a ton of time to throw, fires it to that left-hand side, and all it finds is the back of the helmet of an Oregon Waves defender. Falls incomplete.
Holiday had time on that play. The pocket was set up absolutely beautifully for him, and he was just scanning the field, but couldn't get the ball over the cornerback's head. Just a bit of a doink, and couldn't find the connection there. Let's see what happens on second down.
Another quick drop back, interception. That one's going the other way. 5, touchdown Waves. That is Joe Vasquez as he gets down in the end zone. But wow, that's an early jump to the lead for these Oregon Waves.
Welcome to the league, Youngblood. Jojo Vasquez making his first official SFLm appearance. Second drive in the league, and what's he do? Jumps the route perfectly, just reads it like a cheap grocery store novel, and takes that all the way to the house for 6. Woo!
You're going to have to scrap that one from the playbook. I mean, that's just a simple one-step drop. He fired that one to the right-hand side, and there was just a handful of defenders there. Even if he didn't make the play, there was another 2 Oregon Waves there that could have. Man, Boston needs to figure something out, and they need to figure something out quickly, because their coming out party isn't becoming much of a party.
Usually at this point is when you'd be calling the cavalry, but they showed
Exactly.
up in the first place.
They're all
so
here.
They're going to have to find something new in the look. After a great return, look at that little spin there, taking it all the way to the 33.
J.C. Wallace playing double time, playing on the special teams unit as well, getting another tackle. I believe he's the one that forced that fumble last time out as well. That's Quentin McCord returning kicks here in Boston. Oh, we have some time. We'll go over the rest of this offense here for Boston. Dane the Lock Jensen filling in at left tackle. Mookie Moore, your guard. Roberto Garza, your center. Martin Bibla and Robert Hicks filling out the right side of that line. Coming out, Doc Holliday, I mean, you got to try and wipe that off your slate, I imagine, here. And just play your style of football. See motion across the field.
And you know that's what the left tackle is telling him. Dane Jensen's got some SFLm experience. He was a tight end past. And so he's picking up Holiday and telling him, it's all right, brother. Let's get back out there and get work done.
Heading to Fearless Price, they call him, number 81 on that left corner route. But very tight coverage here from Oregon. Their defense showing to be something formidable here early on. Drop back again, and that time it will connect over the middle. That one soars through a few hands, and it's able to find Dallas Sanders over the middle on the post.
Playing in the dev squad down from Mexico, and you see what that kind of veteran leadership will do. Sanders just cuts right in there as soon as he gets past the corner, or the free safety rather, finds that spot in the middle of the zone and makes himself open for Holiday to get that pass out.
There we go, a little bit of momentum for Holiday in this offense here. Nickel look for the Waves as they're just shy of the 50 midfield mark. They will send Sanders in motion. No one follows. Very soft coverage on these corners as well, giving them a lot of room. There will be a handoff up the middle. Oh, he's going to break a tackle, and he's going to keep running. Great run there. That's T.J. Duckett, the big halfback, fighting ahead for 9.
Doing the ducking and running, just absolutely lowering the shoulder there into the coverage safety. And again, dragging him forward. That seems to be the play of the day. These halfbacks not just getting a lot of touches, but getting physical touches.
Another handoff right up the middle. Why not do it again? And the hit is made initially, but still able to fight for the first down. Warwick Dunn able to get his hand just out past that marker.
Getting a new set of downs. Boston is now finally setting the tempo the way that they want, slowing it down and getting the reads that Holiday is happy with.
Another pass here from Holiday. That one again over the middle, and it's caught again. Sanders looks like the very same route, and it's the very same result, a huge gain.
That's how you got to play. Memory of a goldfish. Absolutely no fear after throwing the pick six, throwing it on first down and getting Sanders tight in coverage, but still for those huge gains downfield. And that's what you need to do to find success in this league.
Absolutely. You can't just you can't be scared of what doesn't work. You gotta keep going with your gut, and it's certainly working out for them now. We'll see someone follow Dallas Sanders, the motion man, across the field. That's Ken Lucas of the Oregon Waves. 5-step drop. It's met in the back. That is Antonio Cochran, who drags him down for the 5-yard loss.
Oh, and that's what'll happen on your first SFLm game. Just not having the awareness to see the edge rusher coming off the weak side. Holiday's holding on the ball too long there and takes a 5-yard sack.
Dane Jensen will come back to the hole and shake that one off assuredly. So he's going to give him some more protection along that edge and protect his blind side a little better on the plays to come, I'm sure. Another pass. They're not afraid to throw. 2-step drop connects just over the outstretched hands of the defenders. What a play there. That's number 89 for the Boston Cavalry. That's Quentin McCord. That's the return man that we talked about earlier.
Usually a special teamer, but he just uses that explosive speed to get behind both defenders. Fortunately, the Wave make a tackle before it gets all the way down, but you can't let that, even the 4th and 5th string receivers, get that open behind your back.
That's a terrific throw by this young quarterback. No, he couldn't have placed it any better. We're going to go I form again, and we'll have some more motion on this play. Looks like one of their big tight ends. That's Brian Kozlowski moving to the opposite side of the formation. They'll run it to the weak side. A spin move results in a few yards. They'll call it 2nd and goal.
Talk about a shoestring tackle. I think that was Godfrey laying out there to get the tackle after the spin, just taking him by the top of the shoes and saving a touchdown.
Very heavy set looks from both sides here. Boston's been running out of this all night. They do it again. Give it to TJ Duckett. They try and let their big body get into the end zone, but he gets met by Randall Godfrey again.
Godfrey is playing tight coverage here in the red zone, and that's what you love to see from your linebacking core. You need these guys to play the tightest when the field is at its shortest.
Well, they try it again. Looks like it. Both sides are expecting it. Boston in this I form again. They will call some motion, though, maybe trying to mix them up a little bit. That's Algie Crumpler moving to the bottom side of your screen. They will hand it off right side. He's stopped in the backfield again. And man, just this Oregon defense showing up in a huge way. Anthony Simmons makes the stop behind the line.
And maybe just a little too much motion from Crumpler there. That's a big tight end. And rather than going from the far outside, maybe you want to stop him right on the edge of the line there. Give yourself an extra blocking space to let you have the time to make the plays that you want. And instead, they have to settle for those 3 points. But at least they're on the board now.
And down here in the minor leagues, they have Matty Maniac, their surefire leg, over here in Boston. And they're sure happy they're paying him now, as they finally get on the board with 3 points. And you have a 17-point scoring outing here in this first quarter, but that's still what it is. We still have 3 quarters of football left to be played. It's still anyone's game at this point, especially now that Boston has some points on the board. Maybe swing the momentum in their favor as Oregon gets a nice return. They'll call it out to the 27 as Boston's defense will take the field. Let's finish up that roster that we didn't get to earlier. Paco Brachette, Tom McBride, and Brian Scott, your corners. Kevin McAdam, your free safety, and Paul Alazar, your strong safety. Kicker and punter, the aforementioned Matty Maniac, and Chris Moore, their punter. A lot of split back here for the Waves tonight, John, on offense.
Yeah, they're liking that look, getting Jim Hood as many touches as they can, just like that, and getting him set up with good blocking in front of him.
Yeah, and it's certainly working. Why quit while you're ahead? That's a gain of 5. If you can keep that up, you're not going to be in much trouble this evening.
Probably going to be the last play of the first half here. They're not rushing to get too much going. They've already got a pretty solid lead going on, 11 points in the first, and they're happy to take that going into the break.
We will call that the first quarter. Like we said, Oregon leads by 11 over the Boston Cavalry. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, here to the SFLm. And it's opening night for Season 12 here. We have two of the newest faces here in the minor leagues facing off. What a better way to start the season with some fresh faces. They'll call Jim Hood's number once again. He gets a gain of 4, and that's 3rd and 1.
Again, meeting the linebacker shoulder first, just throwing his body into every single run. Jim Hood is taking this game by force.
Another I formation here for the Waves. The bottom side of their offensive line very strong, and they'll run to that side. Sean Alexander spins a little prematurely, and he gets wrangled down by Keith Brooking.
He gets back past the chain, but you're right. That spin came a little before the tackle did and confused himself more than the defender, it looks like.
Just keep ahead of speed, why don't you? They'll call it I form again. This time running to the opposite side. Hood will get wrangled down. That's Brooking again making the play.
And this is what you got to do with a young quarterback sometimes. Let your backs really set the tone, get some time of possession on your side, and get the defense moving the way that you want so that your young quarterback can really start reading these defenses and figure out how to get the ball downfield to the right receiver.
Up the middle once again. They're just running it all over them. They'll call it 3rd and 3 now after that run by Sean Alexander.
And that's what you get. 4 yards a run, 3 yards a run. You're getting first downs more often than not. And you're happy to just take that time with the lead that you've got already.
Oh, delayed handoff, trying to catch him off guard with the draw, and it does not work. A huge hit made by Paul Alazar just before the line of scrimmage.
Paul Alazar, the Dev League strong safety, playing down from LA, showing how it's done. And that's the kind of defense that you need in the run game from your strong safety.
These defensive backs came to hit today for Boston. Talk about hard hits. Jojo Vasquez not playing around on special teams.
Yeah, you've got that right. And McCord with just absolutely nowhere to go on that play. But his coaches are sort of tapping in the helmet with the clipboard there saying, just take the fair catch next time.
Right. They're going to take every opportunity they can. I don't blame them, but I know that hurt. Two receivers to the bottom side of your screen against the 4-3 look of Oregon. Holiday surveys some motion just before the snap, but they'll hand it off up the middle. Shut down before it can even get started there. I believe that was Anthony Simmons who shut it down.
You could see that pressure from the linebackers before the snap. Both guys were lining up right behind their defensive tackles, ready to swallow up the middle of the field.
Oh, another quick throw from Holiday. Makes every fan back in Boston nervous. That was a very similar play that he threw the interception on last time, but this time it falls incomplete.
Those quick passes, what you call a 90 pass, it's really good to, prevent the sack. And if you have an all-out blitz coming your way, you're going to read that blitz and get the ball out. Yeah. But, it's sometimes not enough to break away from the coverage like we saw in that play.
A call motion to make it 2 receivers to each side of the field. Single back look here for the Cavalry. Quick throw out to the left-hand side. Oh, you got to be able to pull that one in on the interception. But regardless, that was 3rd down, so the Cavalry will have to punt.
Another absolutely dangerous throw by Holiday, and that time it's Sean Springs, who was a little shocked that the duck was coming his way and couldn't get the shotgun up in time, and just lets the ball hit the turf. That could have easily been another pick here in the first half.
Absolutely could have. He's on the defensive side of the ball for a reason. He wants them hitting the turf. It's all right. They'll forgive him. But, man, Oregon's defense, they bended and they bended and it bended, and eventually they let a little bit of points through on the last drive, but that time they just stood strong. Really nothing getting through there. And while Oregon's offense, every time they're out there, they're getting a little bit of something. They're taking some time off. They continue to run the ball. Let's see if they do that again. Can't imagine they'd change too much with how they've been playing. They will. Right up the middle. Alexander again, they'll call it 8 before he's brought down.
And we got the chance to talk to the Oregon ownership group before the game. And what Wheeler said more than anything else is that he had faith in the coaching staff. He said that Forge was going to put together a winning game plan. And sure enough, it looks like Oregon saw the field out in front of them and knew what they wanted to do for their home opener.
Certainly setting the tempo for their style of play here as they'll give Jim Hood another run. And man, he is just chugging along. He's over 5 yards per carry on the day already.
Just absolutely great running there by the veteran back. And that's what Oregon's going to be doing all season long, leaning on him to take the time that they need to set up the game plan they want.
Game 6 on the outside run. Boston needs to stack the box a little bit more, bring a few more bodies down to the line of scrimmage, and just play some hard-nosed football, because right now Oregon is just completely controlling this game.
No, you've got that right. And you can tell that there's a little bit of trepidation. You don't want to pull down Alizar too often and leave the deep pass open. But look at what Oregon's doing. It is run, run, run. And you can't keep relying on Karen Riley to make those kinds of tackles every play. You need to find ways to stop the run before it passes the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that they do. Like, they're shooting out of the backfield like they're coming out of slingshots. Jim Hood, crazy speed out of the backfield. Offset I form, and they'll hand it right up the middle once again. Not even contested until he's well past that first down marker.
Just huge runs for Hood. You know, already, like you said, well over 5 yards a carry at this point. You know, taking over this first half and showing what veteran leadership really looks like here.
Looks like another run here. They will bring 3 into the box, though, this time to back up their linemen, but it doesn't matter. Another 6-yard run, and a nice display of blocking once again from this Oregon Waves front.
And Sean Alexander sort of lightening the load there for Hood, making sure that you're not burning up too much of the gas in the tank, because we've still got a whole second half of this quarter to play, let alone the second half of football coming.
Little fight ahead and rolls over him to gain the first down, and they're just chugging along. They're getting ever and ever closer to that SFLm red zone.
Just knocking on the door of it now, under 5 minutes to go.
Excuse me. Another handoff to the right side. Alexander fights ahead, gains a few. Probably should have bounced that one to the outside. He got caught from behind there by a defensive lineman. That was big Ryan Watson pulling him down from behind.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth there, DJ. That looks like a design that was supposed to bounce to the outside of the tackle, sort of what we call the D gap. Instead, he got stuck on the inside, couldn't quite make the play all the way out that he wanted.
They're going to motion Jeremy Stevens up to the top side. Ton of bodies in the box, and Jim Hood will get the outside run and bounces it to the outside that time. Gets a good amount of yardage. I'll call it 3rd and 2 now after that 5-yard run.
And don't be shocked, we're going to see it once again. It's going to be a running formation, and may even see the draw play, but it's going to be another run here. I'd bet my salary on it.
They are bringing quite a few extra bodies. Alexander does run, breaks a tackle, and he's into the end zone. Making it look easy is Sean Alexander and the rest of this Oregon Waves rushing attack.
Spreading the love around a little bit. You know, Hood has been absolutely crushing it here in the first half, but he is not a greedy man. He's a team player, so he says, Sean, you take this one in. Alexander just cuts through that hole in the line for an easy 6 points.
A touchdown for each of them, and combined, they are already over the century mark in combined rushing yards. 10 plays, 56 yards, and a big chunk of time off the clock as well. What else could you ask for?
Well, and when you're going with such a dominant run-first game plan, that's what you're going to see. These methodical drives where they're able to grind out first down after first down and take that clock away so that Boston has absolutely tight on the hourglass trying to make a comeback here.
Oh, they will call a flag there, and I think I saw it happen in the middle of the bodies there. as they will call it clipping. Just to get another look at it here. Clean that up, especially when you're playing from behind.
Yeah, it looks like a 15 yards, you can't do that call.
Oh, that's way on the other side of the field. Oh, yeah, that's blatant. He was completely out of the play.
You can't even do that in ice hockey.
That's right. That's a little bit of frustration coming out of you right there. I don't blame him. I mean, it's your first game. You traveled all the way across the country to come play, a little jet lagged maybe, and you're getting it right now in this first half. See a shift there from the Oregon defensive line. As he'll pass again, quick throw, but that time it's caught. High points the pass, and that's exactly where Dallas Sanders needed it. While we have a chance, let's go over this Oregon defense here. Antonio Cochran, Brandon Mitchell, Chad Guy Jr., and John Randall, your defensive line. J.C. Wallace Jr., Anthony Simmons, Randall Godfrey, and Orlando Huff, your linebackers. Sean Springs, Ken Lucas, Marcus Trufant, Damian Robinson, and JoJo Vasquez going to be your defensive backs. Sebastian Janikowski and Rodney Williams going to be your special teams unit, kicking the ball all night. Oh, outside pitch, and that one shut down before it can even get past the line. That was 33 around the edge, shutting that one down.
Trying to get a bit more exotic looks out there for Warwick Dunn. Just throwing it right up the gut hasn't been working so far for this ground game for the Cavalry. So they're trying out these little tosses and a couple of different plays, seeing anything they can on the ground.
Well, might as well try a few things while things are struggling. Doug Evans, the one making the play. One of their backup corners. Holiday will survey. He's going to throw again. He's pressured, moves to his right, fires it over the middle, and that one's caught. A play there by the Cavalry. Brian Finneran pulls that one down on the run.
Absolutely huge play. Extends the pocket. You see him, break out a little bit here. Never tucks and runs with it. Just walks with the ball, keeps surveying the field, and waits for that open look to get itself out there. Finneran going up to get that ball to. Just a beautiful play by both quarterback and receiver for Boston.
Yeah, perfectly attacking in between the zones there on that throw. They will bring some pressure. The run is a nice attack against it. It's well past the first down marker. Here we go, Boston. Get a little bit of momentum in your favor.
And I think that's a good read by Dunn there. You look at this, he kind of cuts the ball out a little bit because of a blitzing inside linebacker from Oregon. Just a great play to end the first part of this second quarter, now with a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, George Lane laid a great block through the hole as well. That really opened the outside up for the rest of that run. Boston needing to punch something in here. A little bit of urgency on their backs as the time ticks away. iPhone here. Again, they will pass. Holiday, a ton of time. Fires it over the middle, and that one slips through the fingertips of Algie Crumpler.
But that's actually a good read by Holiday. There was a hole in the zone there, and Crumpler was just not able to get the ball down onto the turf with him.
Yeah, it was a great throw. It was right on the money. Hit him right in the hands. Open spot. Just got to pull it in. Something we'll talk about for sure. See more movement from the line again. He's going to move to the right. Fires it to the right. That one's caught and in. Dallas Sanders shows some life here for this Boston Cavalry offense on the corner route. The defensive back tried to make a jump at it and just couldn't.
And that's why when they were building this team, the Boston management group went out and said, we need to get Sanders and we need to get Jensen. They said, we want this veteran group on the offense running things, and this is how it's paying off. When the chips are down and you need to score at the end of the half, who do you look to? You look to Dallas Sanders.
Absolutely. That veteran presence, even if it's just a season or two ahead of the others, is certainly impactful. Dane Jensen as well, like you mentioned. Paul Alazar, another guy with some experience in the SFL. Chad Guy Jr. on the other side, and Zach Wonders as well. They have some time up in the SFL. And it's a different level up there, so they're certainly bringing some much-needed experience to this young squad, as we will see a return here from the Waves, and they don't have a whole lot of time to cook with, 1:43. And with how we've seen their offense produce and the style of play they've been working with, probably not going to see many more points here on the board if they stick with that style.
No, that's certainly true. They've been leaning on the ground game. We haven't seen Ingles really open it up through the air. So if they're going to get down the field in this minute 43, they're really going to have to find ways to get Ingles a bit of confidence to open that arm up.
Single back hook here for the Waves. That one's up the middle again, and Jim Hood gets wrangled down after just a yard of running. There's a big, just hulking mass of bodies in the middle there. Couldn't really get through it at all.
And both teams here looks like they're pretty content to go into the locker room for half with the score as it is. No one's calling their timeouts. No one's rushing back to the line. We're just letting it yard go.
Yeah, looks like it. We'll call Daryl Jackson to the other side of the field. A little bit of motion. And we'll hand it off again. Hood gets hit hard. A few yards gain. That's Kevin McAdam over the top.
And that's letting out a little bit more of that frustration, but in a legal way this time, just lowering the shoulder into Hood and making him think twice about running up the gut like that again.
Other side of the 30 here. They will pass to try and keep the first down. Chain moving, and it's caught in a little bit of room after the catch as well. Brings them to midfield and a timeout as well. Corin Robinson, really the only receiving game they have tonight.
And now they're going to start to burn the time out there. Thankfully, you had McAdam right there. It's a free safety floating over the top to let that tackle happen there at the 50, because that could have been a score if not for him.
3 targets, 3 catches for just under 50 yards. Another throw here from Ingles. That one just a shallow flat. But again, it's to Corin Robinson, and again, it's caught.
It looks like they're throwing man coverage on him now. It was Brian Scott on that play, just right on. Couldn't break up the pass, so we do have a reception, but not a big gain there.
Past the 50 now. Hoping for some big chunk plays with only 1 timeout in their pocket and about a minute and a half of football left. Another throw for Ingles. Fires it to the right-hand side. Not much of a spiral on it, but it's still hauled in. Wasn't sure who made the catch there. It was very tight coverage.
Well, and there's the final time out for Boston. They were really hoping for that stop there. Could have really changed the story here at the end of the half. But instead, Oregon's able to squeeze out that crucial first down.
That's a motion here for Oregon. That's Daryl Jackson, who's their, complimentary motion man of the evening, it's seeming, as it looks like man coverage to the bottom side of your screen. Another quick pass, and that one nearly caught off the tip. That would have been Paul Alazar who pulled it in. I believe Todd McBride had a hand in making that play.
Sometimes we see guys drop interceptions because they try to run with it before they catch it, and that was the opposite. Alazar stopped to catch it before running all the way to where the ball was going to be.
Single back look here for the Waves. Looks like a little bit of cheating up on the line from Brooking there as Ingles fires it to the left-hand side. That one hits the hands of Corin Robinson and falls incomplete. His first drop pass of the day.
Aggressive coverage there by Brian Scott, and that's what you need to do when covering Robinson, it looks like. It seems like there's some pretty good connection between Ingles and Robinson, so they're going to have to disrupt that any way they can.
Some physicality, it sounds like you're saying, partner, and I completely agree with you. Some more motion here this time. It's Robinson. You're expecting the pass. Only 3 down on the line of scrimmage there. Ingles will have a ton of time. Fires it to the right, and that one caught. Wow, what a great catch. Bobby Ingram making a name for himself. They'll hurry up. They're on the 20. Another pass from Ingles. Fires it quick. That one's caught, and another 9 yards. Not sure if they'll have time for another, though, and it looks like they've accepted it.
Not even going to call the timeout for the field goal. They're just letting it go.
Oh, man, and that will be the half. Oregon nearly escaped with a few more points to their name, but they couldn't quite get there. The stop by the Boston Cavalry makes it an 11-point deficit in Oregon's favor. And, man, John, it has been a very rough first half here for Boston as far as stopping the run game and getting consistent offense. But they're slowly clawing their way back into this one. What do you think they need to do to complete the comeback?
Well, we need more of Holiday, what we saw there at the end of the first, throwing his first ever career touchdown with a 25-yarder to Sanders. And I want to see that kind of mentality go into the second half. Our producer, Alex West, likes to call it that gunslinger-ish. And you need that mentality to go into the second half undaunted by the score and really get that ball downfield as much as you can. And for Oregon, you want to see this defensive-first mentality continue. They've really contained Boston with a mix of blitzes and exotic coverages that have allowed really great play on the defensive side of the ball, especially from Guy and Wallace, the brothers junior. So you want that to continue so that Ingalls and Hood can let them manage the offensive game clock the way that they have in the first.
Back here, ladies and gentlemen, to SFLm football. This is season 12. And we're kicking things off with a bang. The Oregon Waves and the Boston Cavalry here playing their first games of their entire careers. John, it's a pleasure to be with you here again. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't liked the video yet, I don't know if we're watching the same football game, because this one is certainly delivering up to this point.
This is the prototypical SFLm experience. This is what you love to see. Coaches making plays work with new players, mixed with veteran players, mixed with non-contract players. We got young guys making plays and getting their names out there so that scouts looking to draft the next big Hall of Famer can really see eyes on the product. This is what we love here in this league.
That's right, another run up the middle, back to that Oregon Waves offense we've been seeing the entirety of the first half. Jim Hood will gain another 8 onto his already impressive day.
And 7 of those 8 yards came after contact. He was met right there at the line by Kearney, and he sheds it off, moves into the second layer, and is almost able to push his way into the first down.
A short downage scenario here. I'm sure we're all expecting the same thing, and we'll get it a run up the middle. Alexander, they'll call it. They'll give him the first down that time.
Ooh, they didn't give Boston the yardage on that same look in the first, so Alexander maybe getting a little bit of that home team favoritism.
Oh, don't get me started, John.
I'm not picking a sore spot at all, am I, DJ?
Looks like nickel here. Another run up the middle, delayed handoff. Hood has a ton of room. They'll call it 9.5 as he fights through that tackle.
There's Alazar again coming down from that defensive backfield to meet the halfbacks before they get too far. Some great play here by the strong safety.
Another run. Alexander gets the first down and then some, past the 50 and nearing the 45 with that one.
And that's what we call patient running. We've seen it a couple of times here tonight where he meets the line and sets his feet and dances through a little bit. Instead of just taking the first gap he sees, he finds the better angle and finds a first down.
Rifle him here for the Waves. And another 4-3 for Boston. Another handoff right up the middle. Hood gets met right at the line of scrimmage. And not often today we've said this, but he stopped for a gain of 1. That's Overstreet making the tackle right at the line.
Overstreet coming down to support Smith and playing a little bit of that extra down lineman. And we've seen it a couple times. Both of these teams sometimes putting 3 on the line, sometimes 4. Some great defensive looks here.
Call that a gain of 4 as Alexander fights through defenders. And man, their offensive line, more often than not, we're seeing just huge holes for these Wave running backs to go through, John. And I mean, they're just asserting their dominance.
No, that's right. And it's got to be tiring, even after the halftime break, to have to play so physically, play after play, like we see again here. Oh, with Hood just forcing the issue and getting the first downs.
I mean, in that time, you see the line collapse so quickly, but Hood just sprints out of the pocket, and they will challenge the spot of the ball here. I mean, that just lets us have another look at this run. I'm not sure I agree too much with the challenge, but we'll hear him out. as our Zebras take another look at it.
We're up here in the box, not down there on the field, but it certainly looked like that was forward progress to me.
Yeah, ball's in his left hand. That's the way he's facing. I guess it is close, but I think they're going to give it to him.
Now, the yellow line, like the rest of the game, is simulated, so we can't say for sure what the refs are going to call.
And it is overturned.
And there it is.
Good challenge there. They made the right decision. That's why I'm no coach. They trusted their guys, and they threw out the red hanky, and it paid off in their favor. They will call it inches, but the Waves will not back down. They're going to bring the offense back out onto the field. They're predicting that outside run. Let's see if it works in their favor. A few extra bodies out there. They will go towards the outside, but Hood gains plenty of yards before he's even touched.
Spinning up to the north side of the line there. And, good, strong physical play by Burchett, but just a yard too late, and Hood's able to spin his way to that first down.
Offset single back here. I believe that's Alexander in the backfield. Will be a pass this time. Ingles fires it over the middle. That one's caught. Very tight defensive coverage there. Again, that's Brian Scott.
And you can't run it every time. You need to keep the defense guessing a little bit. And so airing it out a bit, that's Ingles making the good quick reads, though, and making the safe play.
Outside run this time. Hood fights through a few, and that's another first down for the Waves.
We're seeing here the Waves continue their ground dominance. Hood now over the century mark. We're barely into the third quarter, and the Waves are just unrelenting with this strategy.
Don't broke, don't fix what's not broken, excuse me. That one's wrangled down. They'll call it 3. Very generous spot if you ask me, but Alexander will get the benefit of the doubt, and he'll get marked down right at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, the whole offensive line there moving like a tsunami, and so you think they're not passing the line, but it's just that the whole run-blocking scheme is forcing everything down 3 yards.
They run once again, and they will call that one stopped at the line of scrimmage. That's Will Overstreet again making a quick tackle.
Yeah, only the second time tonight that we've seen Hood really not get his way at the line of scrimmage and getting brought down for that 0-yard gain.
Ton of bodies over there on the bunch. They will bring some pressure. Ingles moves to his right, pump fakes. He's going to take off, gets the first down, and stays safe with the slide. Tremendous work, young man.
We have 2 rushing touchdowns. We've got some great third down runs. What we just saw, Ingles, there was the clutchest run of the night for sure. Keeping that play alive, finding the way to fake off the defenders with the pump, and then get the first down with his legs. Just incredible play by the Rook.
Hurdles over a pair of linemen as they were falling as well. Very, very impressive athleticism here from the QB. And man, Hood is going to get brought down behind the line that time. That's Karen Riley, I believe, who was able to get in there quickly.
Just a little too much of that north-south running. It's an east-west game, young man, and you got to hit yourself to the painted end zone. Sometimes looking too much patience is going to get you brought down behind the line.
That's exactly right. That's the first tackle for loss on the day for Boston as well. Onto the right side, Hood fights through. Looks like he's going to be down at about the 1-yard line. That's 3rd and goal. I'm sure we're going to see the attempt to punch it in here from the Waves.
Great read by Alizar, though, to see where the run was bouncing out to and to find the blocks in front of them and avoid them for the huge tackle.
Offset I, heavy box for Boston, right up the middle. Alexander crosses the plane. Another touchdown for the Oregon Waves. That's 2 for Alexander, and there goes the Dags throwing words, reminding everybody that was a touchdown. And man, Oregon setting the tone for season 12 early.
A little bit of that cutback action, we call that, where sort of like a counter, but not quite, because the blocks don't move with him. So he moves to his right, cuts back to the left, and finds a new hole to the other side, walks it in, and after the kick here, 28-10, 18-point lead now.
Man, 16 play, 74-yard drive, Jim. My goodness, how often are you seeing plays that are, or drives, excuse me, that are going 16 plays?
Well, I mean, it's the first drive of the half, and there's less than 4 minutes to go. Boston is really going to have to play with a bit of desperation. But we had a chance to talk to co-owner Aiden Teixeira, and he came in with a bit of that old school swagger, and he said that the strategy was just win big.
Technical difficulties up here in the booth here. Sorry about that. We are back. Quick pass here. Oh, what a catch. Holiday connects. Sanders able to pull that one in again after the quick pass.
Another huge play by the huge receiver. Sanders coming in at 6'5", as we see there on the graphics. And that's what you need from some of these receivers, especially in these tight coverage situations.
Absolutely right. Especially if it's keeping you ahead of the chains. Great play call there. Love to see that from them. Offset I form here against the nickel defense of Oregon. Kick out the fullback to make for an extra body out there, and he's going to hand it off that way. What a play at the line. J.C. Wallace Jr. says you aren't going any further.
Wallace just came right in and met after that move. Fullback made, a nice little motion, tried to fake him out, but Wallace was having absolutely none of it.
Deep drop here, and again fires it over the middle, but that one's not caught. That's Algie Crumpler's second drop of the day.
And second crucial drop of the day at that. Both times would have been for big first downs to really settle this cavalry offense down. And both times he's just not able to get that physicality that he needs to come down with a catch.
Some more motion here, kick to the bottom side. That's Dallas Sanders staying active tonight. He's getting steps in. Holiday, 5-step drop, fires it out to the out route. He's able to get up and try and fight for a few, breaks a tackle. But then Peerless Price is brought down, and he brings a man down with him. That's Ken Lucas, one of the starting corners here for the Waves.
That's right. He's been playing pretty well against, I think he's been matched up mostly against Finneran. So that's going to be pretty rough to lose that kind of leadership in the secondary. But it was still a good enough of a play by the gang tacklers there to get a 4th down for Boston and bring our punters out.
Yeah, going to get a little bit of leg work here in this third quarter, and not a great one at all. That one's going to land in front of the 20, gets a good bounce though, and they'll call it around the 14. Not as bad as it initially looked like from the spot that he punted it from. It cleaned itself out.
Definitely a healthy bounce. Not quite a coffin kick, as it were, but still within the 15. Still pretty much the toughest field position we've seen for Oregon so far tonight.
Single back here for this time for Ingles in this offense. I call it 2 receivers to the top side of the screen after the motion. Time ticking away as Hood will get the handoff for that time. He spins the defender out of their shoes. That's how you utilize the spin move, as a handful of Rebel defenders have to bring him down on the play.
Literally spinning through the tackle like that. I thought he had him wrapped up with a spear right at the midsection, but Hood just absolutely whips through it like a ghost and comes out with a 2-yard gain.
Kickoff up the middle, and he just meets the back of one of his linemen. That's enough time for Brooking to come in and play a little bit of cleanup as he pulls him down.
And great defense here for Boston to find the confidence that they needed in this drive. And you wonder what they're going to do here, 3rd and 7, with Ingles more or less being forced to pass.
Oh, you see some extra pressure being brought at the end. That was bunched to the top side. Fires it to that side, and it's caught right over the shoulder of the defender. Bobby Ingram pulls down his 3rd of the day.
One-on-one coverage, Ingram versus Brechette, and Ingram comes away with the win. Great pass by Ingles to make it while the pressure is coming. A little bit of that forward shoulder, but puts it just high enough that Brechette has to play the body instead of the ball, and the receiver just comes down with a win that time.
Didn't even have to move his hands much at all to be able to pull that one in. Makes me question why they aren't throwing as much, as then I remember they have this guy in their backfield. Hood fights ahead, gets a huge gain before he's finally forced out of bounds.
I mean, Hood's out here with almost, at this point, he actually has now eclipsed 4 times in this game what his season total was last year. We told you he has some veteran experience. He came in at the end of last season. Total of 34 yards. He's already at 131 today. So more than 4 times that season total he's got tonight.
Alexander gets the look this time. He gets wrangled down. They'll call it a gain of 3. And yeah, I mean, this 3rd quarter is already coming to a close. And I can only imagine we're going to see a lot of this running for the rest of the game and just strangling the life out of this clock.
Well, you know, it's what you got to do to save yourself for the next matchup, right? We're in a very young point in this season. We've got tons of game to play, so there's no reason to force an issue and get yourself hurt. Let's just run this out if you're Oregon.
And we'll call that the quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We still got a whole another quarter of football left to go. This is kickoff week here for season 12. Welcome back, everybody. I'm DJ Kilgannon. With me in the booth, of course, my good friend John Campbell, enjoying some week 1 SFLm action here with you all. Boston trying to claw their way back into this one, but Oregon isn't making it easy as they convert on that 3rd down with who else but Jim Hood.
Who else but Hood, indeed. You know, this was clearly the game plan from the get-go. Forge said that we are going to make this game ours, and we're going to make it in the dirt, and just absolutely set Hood up for success from the first snap.
Only a gain of 1 there as Alexander gets dragged down. Some of their big linemen getting involved. Patrick Kearney coming around the edge. Nearing that SFLm red zone is Oregon. A few more runs and they'll be there. And with every run, more time comes off the clock. Hood will gain a few. And man, you talked about his production last season, not a whole bunch. We had a ton of SFLm players leave in the offseason and are making new homes here in the SFL, and a whole new batch of SFLm rookies that we're going to get to enjoy as they just get even better and eventually have their impact on the SFL one day. Ingles could be one of them, but that one dropped. A huge play by Paul Alazar.
And that was a gutsy play by the receiver, going up one-handed. No other way to make that catch, but it's tough to make it with a physical play like Alazar.
Yeah, it gets hit as it's trying to be pulled in. This is just shy of a 40-yard kick, and it slices in right down the middle. 21-point game now for the Oregon Waves on that 11-play drive.
And, you know, not quite the nail that the coaching staff was looking for there, but still 21 points is going to be a pretty tough uphill battle for Boston, and they're going to have to find a way for Holiday to get some of these shots to connect. He's clearly shown a willingness to make these passes. The question is, can somebody other than Sanders get open to catch one?
We spotted at the 26, and here's a little fun stat for you. The shortest drive of the day for these Oregon Waves was a 6-play drive all the way back to start the second quarter that ended in a punt. Before that, you had a 9-play drive and an 11-play drive, both 64-yard drives. Oh, back, folks. Sorry. Got some thunder, lightning, and possible tornadoes here in the around the broadcast production truck here, and trying to keep things afloat, if you will. Sorry about the delays. I'll call it 3rd and inches here for the Cavalry, hoping to keep things alive. Going to see a little bit of motion in the backfield here, kicking out the fullback. That one right up the middle. It will be a first down and a few more. 1st and 10 now, they're past midfield.
And there's some good energy running for Dunn. You know, this is a tough situation for any fresh team in the league, but Boston's handling it right. They're not getting out of their game plan. They're still trying out some plays. They're still letting Holiday read the defense and get more snaps under his belt as we see a missed connection there to Sanders again.
Yeah, that one's a tough play. Wallace Jr. was blitzing, tried to jump up and bat that one down, so a little bit of obstacles in the way on that throw, so not an easy one to make. But they need 3 touchdowns in 7 minutes. It's possible, but not super likely, especially with how this Oregon offense has been controlling the pace. That's Ryan Finneran moving down, and that one just lofted a little bit too high.
Well, and it's not just this Oregon offense controlling the pace. You can't get away and not give love to this Oregon defense.
Yeah.
We talked about the juniors, Guy and Wallace, but that secondary unit led by JoJo Vasquez also been having a great game here. Vasquez with that pick 6 earlier, and then just the whole squad of them, corners and safeties, all playing tight coverage except for that play there on these Cavalry receivers.
Finneran finds himself in a sea of open space. Not something we've been able to say a whole lot today, but you see him crossing from the complete other side of the field and pulling the eyes of the safeties down to leave that curl route on that side open. Great route tree here for the Cavalry, and that one gives them a huge boost to production. Those big plays are sometimes what you need inside the SFLm red zone now. Looks like a few stand-up linemen to apply pressure, but they pitch it to the outside, trying to find some room, but Anthony Simmons meets Duckett on the outside. They'll call it 4.
The fullback Lane just couldn't set the block quite on time. You saw him kind of misread which way the defender was going, and instead of setting up an outside touchdown, we get a 3rd pass there.
Throwing that one to 85 there for the Cavalry, one of their backup pass catchers, and just lofted a little bit too high. There was a lot of green in the area, though. It could have been a lot worse for them. Looks like Holiday really is feeling the pressure on him. He wants to get into the end zone early, leave themselves enough time to possibly come back.
Yeah, that was Kozlowski, the tight end, usually only out there for special teams plays.
The big body, I don't blame them. Holiday moves to the right, and no, nearly picked. It falls to the turf. Wallace gonna wave his hands as the cavalry are unable to get anything. There was a few bodies in the area there. I believe Jojo Vasquez might have been the first to touch it. He was.
And we do see Wallace there running over, trying to get that last second save, but can't get his hands down in time.
We'll take their 3. Might as well get some points. Maybe feels like they're a little bit too far out of this one, and just making their point column just a little bit higher. Of course, pending the kick. It's up and good.
Well, and we do got to remember Matty Maniac out here trying to make a name for himself as well. So Boston coaching staff doing the right thing by the whole team. Ballmer said, you know, let's make sure that we have some good mentality coming out of this game. Let's make sure that Matty the Maniac gets his love as well.
18 points between both of these squads, and they will kick it all the way downfield, trusting that their defense can hold these waves off a little bit longer. Daryl Jackson, the one to return it. He gets wrangled down just shy of the 30-yard line. And John, with how this game has played out, I wouldn't be shocked if this is the last team with possession of the football. And it's this drive right here that ends things.
No, you're certainly right. The Waves offense has been absolutely masterful with their clock management, and we've seen multiple drives already go over that 5-minute mark, or right around that 5-minute mark. So if Boston does get the ball back, it could easily be with less than a minute to go.
Back here, run out of it a few times now. Stretch to the outside. That's a gain of 2 as he's brought down quickly by Riley.
Just great tackling there, not letting him break through the contact, which Hood's been doing spectacularly all night of. So to bring him down on the first tackle attempt is pretty solid work there for the Boston D.
Another Ingles going to pass here. So much time to throw. Fires it downfield. Nearly caught. Oh, a hard hit after the ball hits the turf. And that was Corn Robinson again trying to pull it in.
It was just as nearly picked as it was nearly caught, though. That's a dangerous pass, even to your favorite target.
That's right. Calling back to what you said earlier, partner. Every single one of Oregon's drives have been 3 minutes at least, apart from 2 of them. So we're going to continue that trend here. Another pass here. Ingles feels some pressure, so he takes off, getting jiggy with it as he stiff arms the defender, fights ahead for the first down. Man, you love to see your QB get shifty like that.
And that's not the first time he's done it. And these aren't designed runs. We're not talking about a naked or a bootleg. This is Engels reading the pressure around him, seeing the pocket break down, and saying, my best option here is to put the ball in my pit and go. And both times, it's been the right call to make.
A little bit of shades of former Anchorage Wolves minor league player Mikkel Pajak there, the big body, getting jiggy with it, showing his legs off. As Hood, really the star of the show when it comes to his legs. 30 carries on the day now for Hood. That one, what we've seen most of the night, a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, that gentleman has earned himself the ice bath and the time in the sauna after this one. The legs and arms are going to be sore for sure.
Another handoff up the middle. Alexander gets caught behind a blocker. But he'll give him a few. We've seen that quite a few times for him. You can really see the jump in, quote-unquote skill, if you will. The ball carrier vision from Hood and Alexander. We're seeing Alexander get caught on a lot more of the blocks than Hood is.
Yeah, and he's had great patience to find ways to, after getting caught, still fight for a yard or two, even once breaking a nice 7-yard run out of that play. But you're right, Hood hits the line running much more frequently.
Letting all the time they can chew away before giving it to Hood, and a huge stop. That's Karen Riley, who we've called a few times now in the latter half of this game, makes a stop right before the line of scrimmage.
And it wasn't quite the long drive that the Waves wanted, but still, Boston's getting this ball back with under 3:30 to go. And it's you know, getting tougher and tougher all the time to make up this gap.
Yeah, they will have to punt. Not going to risk going for this one, especially just at the 50. If they're a few yards ahead, maybe try and risk it, but it's going to look like just over 3 minutes as this one gets kicked away. And yeah, 2-minute 49-second drive there for the Waves, John. One of only 3 drives they've had to be under 3 minutes in this game. So statistically, one of their worst drives of the evening, but it did what it needed to, right? It chewed off a good bit of time off the clock, 6 plays, you know, did what they needed to and pinned Boston into some tough field position.
Yeah, that 40-yard punt there is exactly what they needed. You know, again, not quite the coffin. You're not pinning them right on the end zone, but you've set them up that they need to go really the whole length of the field now to get the score. And it's just one of 3 scores they need.
Holiday throws to the flat, and they'll trust him to throw again. Another tight throw into coverage. That one gets broken up and hits the turf. That was back-to-back plays made by number 27 of the Oregon defense.
Just absolute blanketing coverage there by the nickelback, Willie Williams, double dubs as he's known. And, you know, when he needs to come in off the field, he's going to make those plays.
Sure is. We'll see some motion. You know they're going to continue passing. They need to make up the deficit, and this is the only way. Holiday fires over the middle. Oh, that one hits the turf. Nearly falls into the hands of Peerless Price off the hands of, I believe that was 33 for the defense there for Oregon.
Yeah, both teams are having to go to the depths of their rosters at this point to find anyone that they can to get the play that they need. And here comes Boston for a 4th and 10 from the 12-yard line.
You got to go for it all here. Holiday drops back, fires over the middle. That one is caught. Dallas Sanders converts things and moves the chains, gives them a little bit more breathing room. He's been their whole offense, really. Holiday again over the middle. That one is intercepted, and that's the dagger. That's all.
Oh, just an absolute brutal one, and there he is again, that nickel back, Willie Williams, just undercuts the route, gets the grab, doesn't need a huge return. He's brought down at the 33-yard line, 2:27 to go. This is Oregon's game to chew out as they see fit.
That's exactly right. The Waves have only had 1 drive on this evening that's been under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So surely you're going to believe that they're going to be able to chew all the time they need. Hood is going to get a little bit confused in the backfield. He tries to fight ahead for 2. I would have liked to see him just take that to the outside, but he tried to do something a little too cute there.
Yeah, but those are the longest 2 yards that a running back can ask for, because it's going to bring them all the way down to the 2-minute warning.
That's exactly right. They're going to get their freebie time out of the back pocket of the Boston Cavalry. And they're going to go into their 2-minute warning with this 18-point lead they have. And man, the Oregon Wave, I mean, controlling the tempo of the game has really just felt like dominance, really.
No, that's absolutely right. And the plan from the get-go was find ways to let Hood get the engine running. And sure enough, it has worked. He is just taking over, and there's another spinning through the line, making sure that everybody watching the game knows that Jim Hood is here, and this is his season.
First time out of the back pocket for Boston. They're certainly happy that the challenge went in their favor earlier in the 3rd quarter because they'd be in a little bit of trouble, but they need to stop here. They got a ton of people near the line of scrimmage on their side of the ball. And it's going to be a run to that right side. Hood fights ahead and just gets stopped a yard short. Nice stand there from the Cavalry.
I think that was the corner, Todd McBride, coming in as part of that tackling unit there, stopping him just shy of the first down. And you look at this snap, everybody's on the line. It's practically a goal line for me. Oh, well, it's the kick unit coming out to really to ice this one.
And that one just, oh, it's off. It is no good. Throws up the hands, and It was just a little off, just swerved a little bit too far to the right. The winds here in Oregon are unforgiving.
The cannon Seabass popping it right off that left upright.
Boston has a little bit of life left in the tank. They're not going to go out without swinging, that's for certain. Holiday gets another chance to throw over the middle. That time it's caught. Very nice pitch and catch, and that'll be their first time out of their pocket.
Well, we were saying it earlier, Doc Holliday's not afraid to sling it, and that's what they need if they're going to have any prayer at this game. He's got to come out with that tombstone-style play and just absolutely shoot as far as he can.
Another pass to the flat. He gains a few after the catch. They'll call it 4, but is eventually brought down. We're going to see a lot of plays in succession here. Past the 50, Holiday, another snap. And that one's over the middle again. And we see him go up with one hand again. Peerless Price, it falls to the floor. Might have been Sanders as well.
Don't be surprised if they go right back to that formation. They do like that trips look, especially if they're going to have to hurry it up. Don't be surprised if we see, again, a bunch or a 3 formation like that.
See some motion here for the Cavalry. Call it 2 receivers to each side. Wallace in the middle of the Oregon defense. That one again passed over the middle. Dallas Sanders going to catch it just shy of the 30-yard line. Some pep in their step now for the Cavalry as they try and hurriedly call another play. Another pass here. Holiday left side to the out route. Who else is there? Willie Williams gets a hand on it to bat it down.
And that's the thing. If the Cav are going to come out in these 4 receivers or 3 receiver and a tight end looks, the Wave are going to be very comfortable just rolling out with their dime setup and making as many defensive backs on the field to play man when they can.
Here for Holiday, throws to the flats, gets forced out of bounds 3 yards downfield. And I think back, John, earlier into this game when Ken Lucas got brought down with an injury. That injury, I'm sure, is what is bringing Willie Williams onto the field. And, you know, it's not terrible because he's dominating right now.
No, you've absolutely got it right. And, you know, he's not your starter. He's not every single snap guy, but they're putting him in the positions to succeed on these plays like we're seeing right here.
That attempt just going to fall flat before they can really even get a chance. Quentin McCord, the return man, gets targeted once again and unable to find the mark. But Boston, they will attempt the kick. They're going to bring Matty Maniac out to try a 46-yarder. Maybe they'll get called maniacs for attempting this kick with a rookie. Well, you know, quote-unquote rookie down here in the minors. But that one is up, and it's right down the middle. Crown that young man. Great kick for Matty.
And that's the beauty of an SFLm kicker. These guys spend all offseason just cranking on the leg press, and they can kick out these 46-yard goals without too much fear. Matty Maniac is definitely going to be a pickup that you're going to want to see this season through the whole way of season 12, just so that you can say next season in the pros when he's blasting those 60-yard field goals, I saw him win.
Absolutely. Certainly going to see him one day as the onside kick will be recovered by Oregon. He almost slipped away to return that one. That was Matt Fennick Jr., the tight end, with the sure hands. That is not easy to do. Actually bounced off his wrist, and then he pulled it back in. That's even more impressive.
Catching his own rebound on the first bounce. Usually, you know, a second guy's got to get in there. You see a couple people bounce around the balls, and maybe you're going to get your own bounce. But for Fennick to come right back down with a ball like that shows incredible awareness.
And now they're bringing out Keith Wheeler's favorite formation, I'm sure, and that is victory formation. Congratulations to the Oregon Waves for bringing home the W in their first official game of their entirety. And of course it's at home as well. That's got to be even sweeter. The cool air in the air, the smell of the sea just outside the stadium, is something not many SFL atmospheres can bring, but the Waves do it, and they do it well. John Ingles going to take the final snap and final kneel down of the game here for the Waves. And celebration in Oregon commences.
And what a way to start season 12 with two new franchises just absolutely duking it out from the first whistle all the way down here to the end. Both teams just playing an extraordinary game.
Absolutely. And as we have our great new outro music coming in, and we get to talk about this game a little bit more, and man, it was just Oregon all the way, John. It felt like they just had a complete control of this one. And let me hear a little bit about that and maybe a player of the game for you, and I'll give you one as well.
No, you're absolutely right. And DJ, you know me, I am a defense first guy. And so I have got to give the John Campbell jacket to Jojo Vasquez. Setting the tone early with that pick six right out of the gate in your first game as a SFLm player, like, you are setting yourself up for long-term success with that and setting your team up for success. Just beautiful play. Beautiful call by the coach, but for Vasquez to commit on that pick, take it all the way to the house, I got to give it to him.
Don't blame me one bit, partner of mine. We'll go to Jim Hood. He was the entire engine of their offense, if you will. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for opening night here on the Virtual Football Network for Season 12 of the SFLm. We still have another game coming up shortly in about half an hour. We hope to see you all there. I've been DJ Kilgannon. With me in the booth has been John Campbell. Our statisticians and commissioner, Ellie Diomas, of course, J.W. Hartshorn and Justin Reside helping as well, and our producer, Alex West. We wish you all a good night.
Smash that like button.